let's do some Tai Chi. I was actually going to do some live streaming, but it puts a burden on this stream. So we will do some live streaming in the future to some other platforms, including YouTube, coming up. Let's start. Allow your feet to touch. You can have your feet connected in the center all the way out to 45 degrees. More than 45 is incorrect. If you turn your feet out to 45, make sure your knees also turning. From there, pull your head top up. Relax your shoulders. Sink your tailbone. Breathe deep. Bring your hands together in the center. And then let's calibrate. So either push your head top up or feel like you're pulling up on the center of the head top as much as you can. With the chin tucked, relax the brow, open the vision, and then let the vision relax. Focus as far to the horizon as you can. Open your nostrils and your sinuses to breathe more. The mouth is closed. We have the corners of the mouth activated, so type of half smile, Mona Lisa smile, or when you see the depiction of the Buddha, the corners of the mouth are activated. The inside of the mouth is relaxed. You may develop saliva while you're practicing Tai Chi. Just swallow that. We don't spit. Keep the tongue connected to the upper palate and don't force it up there. We may extend the neck in that type of way, but for the tongue, we want to keep it as soft as we can so the chi can move. The chin is tucked. Ears are lined up with your shoulders so that the neck is straight and it's vertical as well. Relax the shoulders. We want to have a slight angle downwards when we're relaxed. Check in the mirror, see if your structure is level. From here, have a space inside the joints, inside the armpit, inside the elbow, and inside the wrist. Feel that these joints are open so that they're not collapsed here, but energetically, even relaxed, they have a round shape. Use the center of your abdomen to support pushing up. The back is relaxed, unrolled, and expanded, and the tailbone is pointing towards the toes. So it's so relaxed, the curvature goes down in angles. Relax the inside of your hips. There's a bend in the knee. Flex your ankles. Expand your ankles. Pull your heels in. Pull the outside of your foot, the outside edge of your foot, as if you're tucking it underneath. Activate the pads on the front of the foot and the toes to either pull in or push down. Use the tendons on the top of the foot and then relax the whole bottom of the foot. Feel that you can open the center in the front to allow the chi to come up. Take a deep breath. Internally also, we're lifting the base of the torso. Relax. Let's do some Qigong to warm up. So this is just a basic breathing exercise, but stretch. Reach all the way and then stretch your arms out as if you're expanding through your fingernails. So feel the tendons in the back of your arm, the back of your hand when you reach up to stretch, like you're stretching your fingertips or your fingernails all the way to the extents. So make the movement continuous and steady. How do we make the movement steady? If you were here last week or you watched last week's video, we make the back stable. So you can practice that Tai Chi idea while we do the Qigong. So when you make the back stable, the legs are simply there to support the back. And the arms become a type of extension of that back. Keep working, keep practicing. I want to show you something. While we're doing this exercise, this is important. When you're squatting, don't let your knee go in front of your toe, which means your tailbone has to sink back. So even if you're trying to practice stabilizing your back, making it nice and stable, if you can only sink to here without pushing your tailbone back and feeling uncomfortable, only sink to there. If you can only go a certain amount until your feet and legs improve, continue working, please. Do 2 more. When you finish, return to Tai Chi harmony. The next one, we're going to use the posture of Tai Chi harmony itself. So, turning around the center. Keep your feet gripped. So imagine being rooted like a blade of grass or bamboo and turning. Time it with your breathing, or if you like to stretch, you can stretch for longer than your breath. And think of your body like a chain. It's linked, so the back, the upper back, the neck, the head, and then turn the eyes. Use your vision. Let's take a break for a second. So with your eyes are type of they are a type of leader. So where you look is where you go. So try an experiment where you just looking. And when you come back to the center, where do you look? Try an exercise now. This time, turn all the way, and when you want to come back to the center, start to look towards the center. So turn your vision. You turn faster. Try it a few times. Breathing. Go at your own pace. Come back to the center. Relax. Let's do a few more stretches, a little bit more stretching. So reach across. Again, push up on the back of your neck. We're focusing on making the central line strong. So reach out, pull the elbow, the arm to each side. Come back to the center, change to the other side. Breathe deep, use the breathing to increase the stretch, and then shoulder rolls. By the way, how many here remember when we do that exercise, we're actually hitting an acupressure point here. When we do these shoulder rolls, you can press in with your fingertips on the side of the thighs. And at that point, you're doing Qigong, you're doing a stretch, and change directions. You don't even have to press hard. Feel the temperature from your hands, your fingers. Alternate. Imagine you can separate each and every rib like an accordion. So as you open, and that what that means is the fascia that surrounds it, the tendons, the muscles connected to it, each little piece, especially the cartilage where we have the sternum and the ribs come together in the center. The weld points, the connector points have cartilage, and as we age, the cartilage becomes brittle, and we can prevent this with slow, gentle movement. So try to reach your maximum, but without forcing it. Come back to the center. Let's actually turn around the center a little bit. Same thing. Think about sometimes when people practicing this, watch my torso wobbling around everywhere. Now think of the idea we talked about, keeping your back stable. And then you can keep the back stable and reposition it. Take a break. By the way, for this one, what I really want you to do is turn your waist. So your hips and your jaw are facing in one direction, but all of this turning through the torso is happening through my neck and my shoulders and my waist, which is, if you put your hands above your hips, you have a space. There's a soft space between the top of the hips and the base of the ribs. And in this case, that's what I'm referring to as the waist, that soft band. So keep the back stable. Shift even a little bit. Relax, come back to the center. Grip your feet. We're going to fold. So relax. Relax your head and neck. Remember to breathe while we're upside down. See if you can fold yourself more. So by pulling your tailbone or the crease further towards the ceiling and then relaxing everything else. Remember to breathe. Grip your feet, make it count, unroll, use your abs, inflating all the way, breathe all the way up, stretch. Let's actually turn a little bit. So now the same thing. With this exercise, imagine making the back stable. If your legs are sort of stable, and you make the back stable, you're going to have this idea of these sort of two lines doing this type of thing. So have that sensation. Remember to continue breathing. Come back to the center. We're going to do leg stretching. Shoulder width wide, shoulder width deep. Sit back, fold the inside hip. Pull your toe up. You can push the foot out further, reach further, extend the head top. When you're ready, push up. We'll do one on the other side. Shoulder width wide, shoulder width deep. Fold the inside. Grip your standing foot. Extend the head, pull your toe up. Remember to breathe. It's your stretch. We're only doing one of these, so push it just a little bit before pushing forward. Breathe deep. I want to talk about some ankle stretches because we don't talk about that very much. So we've done a few of them in this class, and I want to just share some that I do. I use a standing desk when I work. So when you find yourself standing around, it may not be in nature in public, but at home, just take your toes. If you don't have a shoe on, you can just drag your toes this way. If you do have a shoe on, you can do the same thing, but again, putting it in somewhere outside or some public place. So that's one sort of extreme. By the way, when you do that, keep your ankle, your knee, and your hip lined up, and don't let the knee slip out either way. Do both sides. And remember the alignment. And even your standing foot, don't let this make it lined up. Hip, knee, foot. Don't let your leg wobble. So the other sort of the yin-yang stretch of that is you can use a door frame for this. You can use a block. You can use a wall. I'm going to use a door frame here so that we have this. So you're putting your foot here. You may not do it right now while you're practicing here. And then with the door frame, you can sort of grab a hold of the thing here and pull this forward. Again, the same idea is, and what's important is keeping the alignment. And so that opens the back of the calf. We have another one where if I'm standing, I have most of my weight on the standing foot. But to open the ankle, I will turn it directly on its side and then start to add weight gradually. And in fact, this can become detailed. By the way, practice with baby steps. Go small until you understand what's happening. And I roll this from my heel up to my toe and back. If you're concerned about balance or you have some type of injury that you're healing from and you need to only apply very small percentages of weight, use something for support. You can even rest if you have like a bench, stool, something very stable to rest on, and turning the ankle this way. And then the same, the reverse. But the reverse, again, we have to be sure we have the hip, the knee, and the ankle lined up. And just tilting. So this is 4 corners. We can grip the foot and turn a circle one way or the other. Another one is when we step shoulder width wide and we have the toe turning. So all of these designed around this. You have these sort of semi-spherical nodules that come out of your ankle, right? And all of these exercises are designed around turning. So this is another one that I recommend, especially if you're healing an injury. It's very stiff. You need to open that joint. I do this when I'm sitting, right? I don't have a chair ready, but when you're sitting, you can grab the end of the foot and sort of use a little bit of power, use a little bit of force, something like this. Okay, let's continue. One thing I want to talk about is something one of my teachers told me, and I believe that it's in the Tai Chi classics as well. This is a Tai Chi idea when we talk about the extents of the body, right? So if we have a circle and we look at our body in the center here, right? We have something, and we have the extents going outwards. But what I want to talk about is the cross section. So if we have a circle, then we have the center, and then this center goes out to the extent. This is the edge. And let's practice in cloud hands the same exercise we did last week, keeping the back stable with the idea of that circle, your body being the circle and your center line being the dot in the middle of the circle. So you want to keep that stable. But as it reaches further to the end, there's more movement. The expression that I wanted to talk about says, Tai Chi is like an iron pipe that's wrapped with cotton. And this is something we can think about when we practice Tai Chi. It has a yin-yang. Some interpretations say lead pipe. Right? We have this black, hard metal, and then we have this white, soft material, cotton. So when we practice, from the outside, it looks very soft. But your form, your structure, the inside should be very stable. You should feel at every given moment that you can have the power to push. This is the type of stability that we're looking for with Tai Chi, to practice Tai Chi correctly. Grip your feet. So we can say this is a philosophical expression. The Tai Chi looks very soft, but if we apply it, right, it's hard like a metal, right? Something like this. But also, the same is true with your physical self, your skeleton, your structure. The thing that makes Tai Chi powerful is the structure. Should be very stable on the inside, but the outside, your skin, your muscles, your tendons should be so soft. So stable, but relaxed. So this same idea also extending into acupuncture. When we talk about massage and acupuncture theory, we talk about going from top to bottom, right, or from one end of the limb to the out. The same thing is true for acupuncture. When we set a needle, there's a certain depth that's required, and usually we're aiming to the center. There may be times when there's a tendon off to here, and the needle looks like it's not going to the center of the limb, but it is going to the center of that thing. So this idea of a lead pipe wrapped with cotton looks so soft. How much cotton? How soft can we make it look? What if it was wrapped like a pillow? Lots of cotton, right? Or how dense is the beam inside? So let's practice Tai Chi, and we're going to do the first section, the second section, and then we're going to start looking at the first movement. We started looking at the first movement from the third section last week, and we're going to get more into different types of application, the sort of Fa Jing. Before we do all of that, anyone have questions, thoughts, comments, ideas? Yeah, cool. All right. I will remember before the end of class to remind you that there is no class next week. There will be class the following week, and by that time we will determine. I'm going to take a break in the summer, so this month is a year that we've been doing these Saturday classes without break, and so we'll talk about what's next. Let's do some Tai Chi. So we're going to do the first section and the second section, and then we're going to stop there and come back and look at some things. So pick a space to the right of center. Bring your head top all the way up. Relax your shoulders, relax your hips, grip your feet. Breathing deep, bring your hands together in the center. Open shoulder width wide, sink your tailbone. And even from commencement, make the back stable. Breathing, grasp the sparrow's tail. Step forward, ward off. Breathing, grasp the sparrow's tail. Roll back. When your back is stable, the rest of the movement is steady. Even if you move a little faster, this section repeats. Crane. Peepaw. Press. Brush knee. C-step. Press. Stabilizing the back will prevent you from falling into postures. It's controlled because you want to protect your communications array. Ban Lan Shui. Ban Lan Shui. One more. This time, have the idea of cotton wrapped metal. It's soft, but on the inside, it's powerful. Keep the shape round. We're continuing to the second section. Embrace tiger, return to mountain. Left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot, T-step. Palm press, due south to the center, breathe deep to roll back. Turn back to look at the moon. Left side, right side, spear fist. Repulse the monkey. The hands stay within the vision. Sherfei. Tai Chi. Keep your back stable. Only go as far as you can comfortably go. San Tong Pei. Di Hua. Change step, roll back. Horizontal strands. Hook, side whip. This is cloud hands. Right. Make the center so stable. Left. Right. Left. Left hook. Corner whip. Gao Pen. Gao Pen. 2. Facing south. Turning. Left side round, right side press through the center. Brush knee, C-step. Press, brush knee, straight step. Punch, turn, block. Punch, kick, square step. Line. Shui, So Hua. Dali. Keep your back upright. Embrace the tiger. Dali. Embrace a tiger. Monk scoops the moon from the ocean. Air foam. One air. Step back, pull left, kick left. Turning. 1, 2, 3 steps, pull right. Kick right, block, punch, kick, square step, block, shui, rufeng, sibi. We're going to close the second section. Return tiger to mountain. Block, punch right, punch left. All right, before we continue, anyone have thoughts, questions, comments, ideas? Before, I don't want to forget about this. Before we continue, we're going to do some stuff from the third section, but there's one other way to think about this, and this is when we think about from the center outwards or from outwards to the center, is your brain, the state of your mind. And so let's while we're talking about this, let's practice some X-stepping. And it's very warm, so we have to remember longer inhales. This is wherever you are, it doesn't matter. in the past week, we have had 2 of the hottest days on record consecutively. So it doesn't matter where you are, it's warm. So how do we offset this? Longer inhales, right? And faster exhales. We know the air inside is warm, so we want to be able to run cooling over. So if we do some X-stepping, practice at your own pace, comfortable to the environment that you're in, but I want you to practice thinking about stabilizing your spine, right? And the spine is not the end. It feels good and it's nice to make our Tai Chi practice nice, but we're going to take that further. So from X-stepping, while we're X-stepping, the movement of the legs is there to support the stability of the spine. One example that I used to use is for people that are wait staff at a restaurant or a place where they have to carry a lot of glass on top of a tray. And keep X-stepping, go at your own pace. Please remember to breathe. And these people carrying something on their tray, right, when they're walking around, because there's patrons in the restaurant, they may have to dodge, but they have to keep this thing upright. Because there's glassware, I don't have plates, cups, bowls, etc. So the same, when you're X-stepping, imagine that your spine is that tray, that your pelvis has to remain flat. Don't start to hike it up or sink it down. Allow it to sink into its lowest position and actually allow that weight, like a pendulum hanging, to help anchor you. But those legs, like the wait staff with the tray, are designed to support the pelvic tray, and the spine then sits on top of it. And we want that spine to remain upright. Take a break for a second. You can just have a natural posture. When I was younger, I had a friend whose father was into Aikido, and I accidentally learned a Japanese koan, and actually I can't tell you, it was so long ago, it was before I was a teenager, and I can't tell you if it was on a magnet on his refrigerator or if it was imprinted on a coffee cup. But it said, the mind is like the ocean, right? At the very bottom of the ocean, even though there's a storm raging at the surface, at the very bottom of the ocean is calm. Even the sand doesn't move, right? So this is a type of depiction of going outwards from the center, or going from the outside towards the center. Is we want our mind to be like the inside of the ocean. Even though on the outside, our outside sphere, there's turbulence, right? Maybe lots of activity, waves, rain, different things happening, wind, but even a hurricane out there, at the bottom, if our mind is very deep, there's no movement. We don't hear the sound that's out there causing the disturbance. So center outwards. Let's practice third section we were working on. Wild horse, parting its mane. And we started to talk about the application of it last week. This is trapping something. And we want to relax this shape. Last week I said my teacher would talk about collapsing this shoulder, and that is I think it's just a semantics thing, because when we trap this, we actually want to relax this structure here. Remember, when we stand like this, what did we talk about earlier today? The metal that's wrapped in cotton. right? So our inner structure, you should feel like you could stand like this for a long time, very stable, very strong. But on the outside, be relaxed. So this is the same. When I'm doing this movement, right, you also will see the yin-yang appearing, right? Like we're drawing the yin-yang here. This is going to collapse to my shoulder here. And I can't have this out to clear. This has to come down to clear. In fact, it's going to come to the inside and pop out this way, right? So these shoulders, in Tai Chi, we want to keep them level. But in real life application, we may pull it up to use it, right? So when we go to the competition, the shoulders should be level, right? But if somebody's grabbing here, we can drop this to use this way. Wild horse parting its mane. So it's coming out of side whip this way. I'm going to shift to my left foot. My hand's going to turn into the yin-yang. My left hand's covering my right shoulder. My right hand comes up through the center. My foot's coming up, stepping to the corner and expanding. But I'm not expanding past the edge of my box. I'm not letting it fly away to the side at the most. So if we talk about frame, right, in Tai Chi there's terminology that says the frame of the Tai Chi. So my frame doesn't want to go, my arm doesn't want to go past the edge of the frame on the right. The power distribution is here in the center, but we follow through, is going past that point, right? So if we imagine an arc and the power goes to the center of the arc, but the movement continues. And this could break the frame if there's a real fa-jing and there's real overlap, but we don't want we don't want to fake it. If you're doing the movement and it extends, but even this, the main structure is closed, because if this is open, I have to then close it. But here is still closed. And this is right, left, right. So we go from this facing east, and we have hook, whip. So using野馬分鬃, wild horse, parting its mane on the right, and then left. What's happening with the leg? We talked about in the second section. Keep your toe, ankle, knee, and hip aligned, and then like you're drawing a diagonal line through your square from one foot to the other, so that the torso fold the inside of the hips, shekwa, the cutting, the inside folding here, and then when this comes up, we can close, but this, we can think of this as a knee that's coming up here, right? Wild horse. This one actually, I may have some samples that TC sent out many years ago, over a decade ago, maybe 15 years ago. He had both photos and videos of wild horses fighting, and they will bring their front legs when they fight. A lot of times they come up because they're quadrupeds, and so they have their run cycle the way that they do. But when they fight, they'll use their hooves, kind of like they will come downwards with them, but they'll also come upwards with them, right? So they'll use they have extra segments in their legs, and they will use that to hit up, to hit down when they're on their rear, right? This is, by the way, a lot of heraldry, and we can also see it. Sports car logos have the horse, the fighting horse, right? So a horse is very formidable. You don't want to fight a horse. Imagine this thing, right, that's here. So wild horse parting its mane. Let's practice a few more, and then we're going to see where it goes into four corners. So if I'm facing the camera, I'm sinking and then coming up through and expanding, sinking up through, expand, sink, expand. And the power for this, we started to talk about it last week, is this can be a strike, right? This snapping. But this can also be, depending, a push
it can be like a big bump, right? But last week Aaron said something. He said the power is like an earthquake power that increases with time, right? And you can think of that earthquake coming up through the body. Last week I had mentioned, and by the way, this is I'll let you older folks in on a secret. It's not breakdance, like it's b-boy stuff, right? Like breakdance is something from a much older generation. But I'm not going to do that. But the idea is just like breakdancing, right? Where they have something to wave, where the power comes up, right? Or they go do this, right? Remember this thing? So this is the same feeling with wild horse shaking its mane. The power is coming up the spine, and this is the reason I said we're gonna take the concept of stabilizing the spine further, because we're not actually stabilizing the spine. What we really want to get to is the center, the dantian. But the spine is sort of the communications array, and it's a good place to start, and it's a sort of type of carrier for this center thing. So for now, practice stabilizing the spine. But if you can integrate, the power comes up the spine. The spine stays in the center, but we use it like a whip or like a chain, and that continues through the shoulder, right? Even the pectoral complex, right, and anterior deltoid here, and coming out, being expressed finally in the fingers or beyond. And so, coiling my hip, shake qua, sinking here, capture, and then this power coming up, and this is one of these Tai Chi dichotomy ones where if we practiced it perfectly, our spine would be straight and everything would be here. But a TC would say, look at the wild horse shaking its mane, right? They're shaking like this, right? The hair is going everywhere. Sometimes in class, I used to have dreadlocks back then. He would say, Brian, do your hair. He would make me do this. He would say, that's not a stable spine. And so we don't want to lose control, right? We're not at a rock and roll concert doing something. But again, this movement is staying in line. Just like we had talked about earlier, when you do your heel, we don't want the knee going in or out. It stays in line. The same thing, if this power comes up through the spine, it's not rocking left and right. It may make a very interesting spiral or type of Tai Chi shape when it comes out, but it's staying in line this way. It's not swaying here. It's not out of control. We're in control of it, right? So this is getting kind of, it's advanced. We should stick with, for now, for the basic for now, is expand. So if we have that, it's always the hips, jaw, and face are focused. If we have this type of the horse shaking its mane, right? Questions, thoughts, comments, ideas? Okay, let's continue. So let's do the first part of the first section from the up to the second corner of the four corners. This is telling us we have just 10 minutes left. So we're going to start in, we can start in Tai Chi Harmony, it's fine. And are we in the center? Okay, cool. Open shoulder width wide, do a commencement, stabilize your back, take a deep breath. And then from here, I'm going right into turning body, warning palm, press directly to the center, breathe deep, roll back. These are the same first 8 movements. That's how we start the third section. These repeat through the form. Left, glance right, double press, horizontal, split, hook. This is side whip, so I'm parallel, I'm facing east, and this is wild horse parting its mane. Right shoulder, right hip sink, right side comes up, square step, left shoulder, left hip sink. Left side comes up through the center, square step, expand. Right side, right shoulder, right hip sink, comes up through the center. Now guess what? Roll back, breathe deep, join the palms, press, push, look left, glance right, double press, horizontal, split, hook. This is side whip, so we're parallel, facing north, and this is four corners. Number one, right side, left side, press. Next, we're going to open, right, press to the other corner, and from there, just bring your feet together, bring your hands together. Take a deep breath. Okay, just when you thought you made it, we still have 7 minutes, and we're going to start looking at four corners. So, take a deep breath again. From the center, if we have hook and whip, I'm standing in the center, and I'm going to use the room as a sort of guide. The first one is I'm stepping here, my right hand and right foot going to the corner. The next one, I'm going to square step. Now my left hand and left foot going to the corner. I don't know if you can see, the camera sort of has a spherical lens. So, but my square is facing northeast. And then from here, if my palms are both facing up, if I just turn my palms forward and shift over my front foot, I'm in the right position. Let's just do the first one just a few times. So if I have hook and whip, my right hand and foot step, my left hand and foot step, I'm going to shift forward and change my palms. This is the sort of most basic, most rudimentary, right? So from here to here, right hand, make sure I'm on camera, left side, press. Twice more. Hook, whip, right hand and foot, left hand and foot, press. Corner, corner, and then this press also going to the center. So I'm not pressing off to the side here, I'm pressing to the my center and my opponent's center as well. Hook, hook, scoop, scoop, press. So now the turning part. This is what gets a lot of people really confusing, and this is real kung fu. This, by the way, the purpose of four corners, Yu Yan Chuan So is Jade Lady working the shuttle, it's to deal with multiple opponents at the same time. And if you have to deal with more than one obstacle, we don't want to be very predictable to them. We will also want to be confusing to them. After a minute, this will be not confusing and will be very enjoyable because you're turning in a new way. So you step behind and turn this way. So let's just practice what that is. If I'm facing the northwest and I have to step away from the wall because I keep running into the wall. If I'm standing on my left foot, I'm going to take the foot that's in the rear and I'm going to start it turning towards this other corner. Right, let's see if we can do it in 3 steps. So I'm pressing here. I'm going to stand on my right foot, my left foot, lift my right foot. I'm going to step behind and turn my step so I'm facing, now is the other corner. And then from here I'm going to turn this foot and turn this other foot so they're both facing the corner. That's the most simple way to do it. So let's go from the beginning. Right side, left side, press, and then we lift, turn, step. Scoop, scoop. Don't worry, we are going to review this a lot. And what are the arms doing? We just talked about the step. The arms, we learned in the second section something called Sherfei. And the purpose of Sherfei is wrapping around either an opponent or their opponent's weapon or something like this. And so if the stick is here for Sherfei, I want to be able to get around it right here. I don't want to hit anything on my desk. But we're doing the exact same movement. So if I'm facing this corner, when I turn, I want to hook to get my arm around if my opponent has their arm, if they have a stick, right? They have something there. I want to get around it to get under, press, right? Scoop, scoop, press. This is hook, scoop, press. Step, press, turn, step, press. So just like in the second section, when we learn turn back to look at the moon after this hook, we said there's an optimal way to do this. In ballet, it's called fifth position, right? This thing, where the feet are actually parallel, right, like this. But not everyone has the flexibility or leg strength to do that. So I say take as many steps as you need to get there. So from here, from hook, I might take 1, 2, 3, is that a half step at the end? Right, to get into the right position. By the way, we're out of time. It's 11:50 now. So remember, there is no class next week. The following week, there may be 2, because I'm thinking of doing an application review class for second section. Breathing. Put your mind into the center. And then imagine, if you like to go to the beach, you like to go to the ocean. Even very shallow water, where the sunlight can still reach the sand, can still have the sand is stable at the bottom while the waves moving. So put this in your mind. Breathe all the way into your dantian. Keep your tongue connected up there. Do one more, and then return to Tai Chi harmony. Call text right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Catch you later.